think the number one challenge that our community faces is not having jobs. So one of the biggest issues is poverty, and that's as a result of unemployment. And that also exists not just from the jobs that are available in our immediate community, but in the wider community as well in Auckland. And so people are moving out of our community to find jobs, and at the end of the day, the kids suffer. And this really prevents educators from creating meaningful relationship with kids. It also has a detrimental effect on their ability to stay in touch with the national standards.
There's not a lot of opportunities for families to be educated, not only the kids but also parents. There's no parenting programs here.
Thousands of people out there every day, and they're all from some strange place.
In Mount Roskill, for example, in Bukit Tapapa, we've got a high number from the Chinese, from the Indian, and we also have the highest Somali community, if you don't know, are living in this area. And so we got a lot of the Middle Eastern, Latin American community here. You see, for migrants, I mean, we have uprooted ourselves from our country, and for us, we don't have any problems moving around. A lot of new migrants are still job searching as if they are still in their own country.
Other challenges that the community faces here is there's a lot of disconnection of families, more of the community, and services that are available. Like they don't know any services that are available here.
I think from a policing perspective, from a from an NGO perspective, what has to be done is making sure that there is good interface between the agencies that are delivering services to families. Because when we drop off our game, that's when you see things like transients, that's when you see young people not going somewhere, because there's no one paying attention to the life of that young person.
So Mount Roskill it's Roskill South and Wesley is known as a community where there is deprivation, but there's two sides of that story. The other side of the story is that what Roskill have is what the rest of Auckland and the rest of New Zealand needs to thrive, is what the rest is missing.
So here at Project PETA, we're taking a collective impact approach to addressing the overall issue of education and employment, and to influence our community, but also to influence the national system. And the three key avenues that we think that we can make that influence is number one, through the Project PETA neighbourhood, which is 4 facilities located within about a 300 metre radius. And through that neighbourhood, we have a collective physical environment. The second one is through the Project PETA mindset, and that's about creating a collective operational environment where people are changing the way that they think and changing the way that they behave, so that we start to work together more and start to see cohesion and collaboration take place. The third way is through the Project PETA Advantage, and that's about creating collective community leadership and seeing the community actually step up and work together, and as they work together, the kind of momentum that can create and the advantage that they can have in trying to achieve the outcomes.
This is a geodesic dam. We built it because we thought it would be a cool idea to put it in the park. And
so Wesley Intermediate offers an awesome workshop which has been set up in collaboration with Critical Pixels, and it aims to deliver a really robust technology, innovative design curriculum. It's already been engaging students in the last year.
So CP is a social enterprise, and what we do is to grow the capacities of communities through making products, installations and architecture that solve messy problems.
Migration Trust, we deal with basically new migrants. We try to give them real advice, the right information, so they know how to change their job search strategy.
So our duty or role is it's more of pastoral care. So it's pretty much the teachers or the head of departments and the deans sort of work together and find out who are the kids that are really struggling and that really need more help, being more motivated for engagement in school.
So we have a role in local economic development, and we also have a role in youth development and in general community development as well. And those three things sort of overlap, particularly in Project Peter.
Well, Comet's been working toward a collective impact vision of cradle to career thinking in Auckland. We've created Learning Auckland as a cross-sector initiative, something that brings in early learning and schools and tertiary and business and community and whānau, because we're going to need all of that to really make a difference in those communities where achievement is particularly complex. We're interested in cradle to career thinking because it's the journey that people make and the successful transition between the stages of your education and learning journey that make a difference to how you succeed.
Community Approach is a holistic program. It's primarily funded by police and the Ministry of Social Development. It's a full wraparound holistic program for young offenders and their families.
I guess what we can offer is, use of the space. But yeah, if it's something that the community can get behind as well, and we can add our people to it.
Project Peter is a lived example in the community of our aspirations for making education join up. What you've got is a group of organisations, all who started out with independent projects and independent money that had nothing to do with each other. It was serendipity if any of them connected and communicated. The whole point of Peter is to leverage off local opportunity and make it make sense across that cradle to career thinking. So we think that Project Peter is a fantastic local test ground, if you like, of how to make things work at the community level. And it's a really unique opportunity, actually. There's very little work being done like this that's focused on education, employment and training. Most things that are happening with a little bit of the system. But Peter has got a vision, and it offers us the chance to be thinking much more broadly.
So a big question for us was, well, where do we actually start? So we decided to have a look at where within our community and within our partners, where is the energy? Where are things already happening that we know are going well, and how can we continue to support and grow that? And out of that we come up with 5 key priority areas that we're currently doing our activity within.
CHAMPS is a youth support network. So it's a network of different youth agencies around in Puketapapa that sort of come together to connect, be empowered, and to be equipped as well just for the challenges of youth work that we do.
So the Te Aonga Awa project was originally the Walmsley Underwood Stormwater project. The idea that the contractor who wins the tender will be expected to provide local employment. So the other key project that's coming through with this is the development of a nursery, hopefully at Wesley Intermediate School, and that will be another source of opportunity of employment training, of readiness experience as well, for people in our community who would otherwise struggle to get into the job market.
We're trying to get this community driving school off the ground because we see that there's really a need of basically helping new migrants, especially the youth, in getting their driver's license.
I suppose from CP's angle, what we'll use it for is to continue to grow Oogly, this online platform. We want to establish Studio Grow, where we want to create a line of globally competitive products and give people employment and skill so that they can grow into starting their own enterprises.
So in the transition space, I'd really like to see the mentoring and the coaching that Rui and other people like Peter and Tilly are providing grow to a point where every single one of our kids has their learning journey mapped out through to high school and even post high school into university.
So the funding from Foundation North could be really valuable in terms of helping us really scale it and examine critically what we're doing. Are we actually still moving from where we are now to where we need to be in the future, and are we doing that in a best practice way?
Funding would allow us to put data much more in the middle of what we're doing, but data offers us an opportunity to track where we're going and to find out which groups are not being served.
I want to be able to walk away from this school and know that Project Peter and its relationship with our school carries on without having that robust support from coordination, administration. It would easily fall apart because all of us are working with our own KPIs.
Working in the grassroots community and with so many different things happening in the community, we do need the training and more and being strategic. People in the community are doing a lot of great stuff and they have a lot of great ideas, and it all benefits the whole community, but it's just resources that they need.
Puketapapa is an ecosystem of social innovation. So what this means is that, like, if we have the funding, grassroots movements like youth development collectives in the school, that means that we can actually spend more time innovating and investing into relationships and trying cool projects out, as opposed to spend a huge portion of our time doing funding proposals and trying to fund that stuff. So the funding will simply maximize social outcomes.